All right, in this video, I'm showing you how to use the Monash app filters to help you navigate your own personalization phase after you've completed the reintroduction phase and determined which FODMAPs you tolerate and which FODMAPs you don't. Before I show you the filters, let me just briefly review for context the red light, green light system of the Monash food guide. So I'm clicking into the food guide and I'm going to go into the vegetables. So the typical food guide, this is without any filters enabled. This is just the way you've been using it the whole time. On the right-hand column, you'll see the big traffic lights, and that's kind of giving you an overall score for the food. And those are either yellow or, red or green, saying, yes, this is high FODMAP, or no, it's low FODMAP. But then each food has a breakdown, not all of them, but a lot of them have a breakdown because for a lot of these foods that are high FODMAP in a certain portion, there's a certain portion that's tolerated. So that's where you see the smaller traffic lights that are red, yellow, or green. Green indicating it's well tolerated at that portion, yellow indicating it might be tolerated, and red indicates it's likely not tolerated at that portion. So if we click into the food, I'm going to click into alfalfa here. So you see those tiny lights, and so for each serving here, you'll see that tiny light in the upper right-hand corner of each serving, and that's what was represented in the previous screen, and then the big light in the upper right-hand corner giving you that overall score. So I just wanted to review that context. So when we start to use the filters, so this, again, you've completed your reintroduction phase and you have determined a score for the different FODMAP categories. You've either given them a smiley face, indicating they're well tolerated, a face with a kind of in the between face, a straight mouth indicating somewhat tolerated, or a frowny face indicating poorly tolerated. So go ahead and tap that filters button in the upper right hand corner. That's that, it's to the right of the star. It has the 3 horizontal lines with the 3 dots. And then you're going to enable filtering. And now this should look familiar. You can go ahead and adjust these filters for the different results you got in your FODMAP challenges. So let's say fructose, I was able to tolerate some fructose, but not larger amounts. So that one's somewhat tolerated for me. Actually, why don't we just I'll show you an example at the end of how this works, but basically you can just kind of go through and change the filters based on your challenge results. Hopefully you tolerated a lot of FODMAPs, but maybe not. So what this is going to do is now it's going to actually change the way those traffic lights are presented to you based on your FODMAP tolerance, individual FODMAP tolerance. So I'm going to change all these back because I want to give you just an example of how it works. I'm going to turn it off for a second. So let's just look at asparagus. And remember those lights I showed you before. So asparagus is showing us that the overall score, that big light in the upper right-hand corner, is red, and then it's showing us that a 5-spear serving is not tolerated, a 1 spear might be tolerated, and 2/3 of a spear is well tolerated. So now let's go out, and asparagus is fructose and fructan. So if I go into my filters, and let's just say that I don't tolerate any of these, maybe I don't tolerate these, but I do tolerate fructose and fructan. Okay, so now when I go back into asparagus, look at that. So with the filters, you'll notice that on the right-hand side, the big traffic lights disappear, and all you get then, and also you won't see any more yellow traffic lights. So all you get are small yellow, small green or red traffic lights, just telling you if this food is likely tolerated or not at certain portions based on your filter. So since I said I tolerate fructose and fructan, look, I have all tiny green lights on the right-hand side. Now, I do want to point out they are still going to show you these lights indicating which FODMAP the food has, just for your reference. So those 6 lights indicating, does asparagus have fructose, lactose, mannitol, sorbitol, GOS, fructan? Those lights won't change. We're talking about the tiny lights that are assigned to those different portion sizes. Those are the ones that change. So before we had red at 5 spears, yellow at 1 spear, and now they're all green since I tolerate both of those FODMAPs. Another example, let's go up here, and I'm just kind of doing this, to show you guys. So, I mean, just for kicks, like if I said I tolerate everything, oh, well, then it wouldn't even, then everything would be green. So it's saying, please use at least one filter. So I think you guys get the idea. Let's say sorbitol, I'm intolerant to. So it's just going to go in and show me all of the ones. So let's go to fruit where we find sorbitol. These are all fruits that have sorbitol. So I can actually think of quite a few ways you might use these filters, even just to search for certain, FODMAPs in certain foods. But this is an excellent way to finally personalize your Monash app and then be able to use it ongoing, even once you determine that you are able to tolerate certain FODMAPs and not others.